Well, friends, we continue to keep an eye on the news and events on the front line of Ukraine and Russia. And today, the situation is such that the counteroffensive by Ukrainian forces didn't show active advancements due to serious Russian fortifications. And similarly, the Russian counteroffensive they initiated from Kupiansk to Kreminna didn't lead to significant successes for them either. A surprise attack yielded results, and now the Ukrainian forces have dealt them a significant blow. The front line has halted, at least for now, indicating that both sides have fortified their position significantly, making it quite challenging to break through the defense. As a result, today's battles are turning into a real ordeal. But before we dive into the review and the map, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. And let's start with the direction from Kupiansk. From the farthest front line to the outskirts of Kupiansk, it's a distance of 6.5 kilometers. The occupants couldn't overcome this section. However, over the course of 2 days, the front line remains unchanged. Periodic attacks have been conducted, and for now there is repositioning and shelling of Petropavlivka, which lies on the path to Kupiansk. And Ukrainian forces report that the situation is quite complex. To the east, the occupants haven't achieved success either. They continue artillery preparations near Kisilivka. It seems that will now attempt to break through to this settlement. And the Ukrainian forces, on the other hand, are solely in a defensive stance, not conducting a counteroffensive here, despite many expecting them to continue a counteroffensive precisely in this area to advance towards Lugansk and thus reclaim significant cities for the Russians. But today all efforts are focused on the south and Crimea, so let's immediately move on to the southern regions. And in the Zaporizhia direction, the occupants are currently advancing, trying to reclaim lost positions. The situation is quite complicated as the occupants have a substantial number of reserves and are pressuring their Ukrainian forces, preventing them from solidifying on new positions and especially from advancing further. However, with each passing time, the pressure from the Ukrainian armed forces is increasing and offensive actions are starting with the utilization of more equipment. And in the direction of Vuhledar, similarly, it's the occupants who are currently leading the attacks. It's crucial for them not to let the Ukrainian forces into Staromlynivka, so they are attacking in the area of Staromayorsk to regain lost positions. And the Ukrainian forces for now are consolidating in Urozhaine, although it's not an easy task due to the periodic attacks by the occupants. In fact, the Ukrainian forces even posted a video online showing the clearing of the territory from occupants in Urozhaine. Most likely in the near future we'll witness movement towards Zapoviitne Bazhanya and Staromlynivka. And additionally, the Ukrainian armed forces are actively eliminating the occupants in the rear. And in the Avdiivka direction, the Ukrainian armed forces have managed to calm the occupants. Russian media has stopped talking about the capture of Avdiivka and Marinka, probably realizing that it's an unrealistic task for the Russian proxy army. And for now, attacks on the outskirts of Avdiivka continue and shelling persists. Further south, the situation has stabilized and shelling is recorded in the area of Pervomaisky and Nevelsky. The Ukrainian forces are in a defensive posture and there are no assault operations advancing towards Donetsk. even though Donetsk itself is only a few kilometers away from the front line. And in the Bakhmut direction, the battles are the most intense and the front line remains unchanged. The Ukrainian armed forces are liberating Klishchiivka, but they haven't been able to solidify due to continuous Russian attacks. Fierce battles are also taking place around Andriivka, although it remains under occupant control for now. Further north, the situation remains maximally stable. The occupants previously attempted to advance toward Bogdanivka in this area, but the Ukrainian armed forces successfully repelled all attacks. However, the front line remains unchanged. And in the area around Kremina in Sivers, the occupants have once again decided to launch attacks on Bilogorivka and Vesele. Such attacks were observed a month ago as well, and like before, they lead to no significant outcomes. The Ukrainian armed forces confidently maintain their defense, and the front line remains unchanged. Meanwhile, Russia continues to shell Ukrainian territory. Today, strikes are reported on Lviv, Lutsk, and Dnipro. In Lviv, the Russians hit a residential building, causing a fire to break out on the upper floors. Evacuation of residents is currently taking place. And in Dnipro, a rocket struck one of the industrial facilities, resulting in a fire. One casualty has been reported. And in Lutsk, a rocket also targeted at industrial facility. Currently, 2 casualties are known. All relevant services are responding on site. And there were also reports of a strike on a municipal complex, but further information is currently unavailable. And overall, Russian occupants launched an attack on Ukraine using 28 missiles from air and sea-based launches. Ukrainian defenders managed to destroy 16 cruise missiles, including Ha-101, Ha-555, and Kalibr. However, explosions are not only been recorded in Ukraine. Today, it was reported that an explosion occurred at a gas station in Russia, located at the outskirts of the town of Makhachkala. More than 70 personnel from the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations are continuing to sift through debris and search for casualties at the site of the fire. Canine units are also involved in the effort, and to assist the municipality in the assessing damages, a group of experts from the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations and Local Rescues has been dispatched, and in total 102 individuals were affected by the incidents, with unfortunately 27 fatalities. And it has also come to light that the Russians are planning a provocation at the Kursk nuclear power plant. The occupants have already devised an evacuation plan for the local population, as reported by the Center for National Resistance. The evacuation is planned for 21,000 to 57,000 individuals, despite the fact that the population of the region exceeds 1 million people, with the city of Kursk alone having 435,000 residents. In essence, they are targeting around 5% of the chosen ones who are on the list. And the Center for National Resistance emphasized that the Ukrainian defense forces operate exclusively within Ukrainian territory and have no intentions of launching any attacks on Russian nuclear power plant. This provocation seems to be a maneuver by the Russians themselves to divert international attention from their actions at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And there are also reports emerging that India has decided not to invite Ukraine to participate in the G20 summit scheduled to take place on September 9-10, 2023 in New Delhi. This statement was made by the Special Secretary of the Indian G2 representation, Mitesh Pardeshi. At the same time, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is listed among the participants. This conclusion can be drawn from the participant list of the summit published on the G20 website. India has chosen to maintain a neutral position on matters related to the war Russia initiated against Ukraine. The country refrains from expressing any criticism towards Moscow and consistently calls for a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. And meanwhile, in July, media reports indicated that key representatives of the G20 were struggling to reach a consensus on the concluding statement of the September summit. They were uncertain about what to say concerning Russia's war against Ukraine. And it's noted that if a resolution is not found, India would become the first G20 member country not to issue a concluding statement since 2008. According to journalists, the United States and its allies insist on mentioning Russia's war against Ukraine in the final statement, while Moscow and Beijing are firmly against it. And this is what's causing their deadlock in negotiations. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.